Guardians hockey is back for the second game of the day in the semifinals. We will face off against the Omaha Jr Mavericks once again. This is the team we took a 1-goal loss in the opening round of this tournament. Guardians will face off, hoping to get a little payback here as we move in to drop the puck. Mavericks move it back to their defense. They then move it up into the middle of the ice. Both teams trying to move it through the neutral zone. They go cross ice. Barr's able to tip that down with a stick. He's now battling there. Auburn goes back. He throws it. That goes to the point. They fire it on that. That's tipped. That goes wide. Higgy's there to pick it up in the corner. He tries to chip it up to Lynette. Lynette now tries to move it up to Auburn, but it's out way out ahead of him. Mavericks then chip it back into the neutral zone. Brown then goes back to Higgy. Higgy's got some open ice. He moves into the middle and back to the outside and has that puck poked away. He then slaps it. That rims all the way around the far side. Mavericks then shoot the puck up into their own bench where they face off inside the zone. Faceoff comes to Olsen at the point. He dumps it back to Simonson. Simonson throws it towards the net. That's tipped on at the far corner. Ryan's there trying to put pressure on. That comes up. Morvacek. Morvacek steps up to hold the blue line. He's battling there on the blue line, and then it's poked out into the neutral zone. Campbell picks it up. He goes back to Simonson. Simonson can't hold on to it. He's got to go back and pick it up. He turns around. He cuts back. Then he throws it up, trying to get it to O'Brien. Unable to do so. Now battling there in the half wall. Guardians trying to move it up the wall. Mavericks then dump it all the way around. Morvacek picks it up on the far side. Morvacek starts to look up the ice, passes, that goes out to their D, and they dump it right back into the zone. Simonson goes to pick it up in the near corner. Sees O'Brien. That gets through. O'Brien's able to tip. They're going to call an ice. Face-off will come back into the Guardian zone. Guardians win the draw, back to Chronic. Chronic rims it around. Amos is sitting there on the far side. That's picked up by Lynette. Lynette's quickly brought on. He dumps it down deep into the zone. That comes in the far corner. Auburn picks it up. He throws it back down. That puck's behind the net. Mavericks then rim it around. They're trying to get it around Lynette. Lynette's now battling there in the corner. He comes out with it. He skates towards the net. Shire goes off the post and back into the corner. That comes out to Higgy. Higgy moves up. He then gets it down to Lynette. Lynette now taken on by 2-3 Maverick players. Auburn comes in to help out. Both teams battling right here on the half wall. Auburn comes out with it. He chips it out. That goes back into the corner. He stripped off the puck. Mavericks now skating it up out of their zone. They then throw it the length of the ice. That's going to be an icing. Face off down into the Maverick zone. Campbell in and take the draw. Puck's loose. That comes back to O'Brien. O'Brien goes back to Morvacek. Morvacek throws it on net. Puck's now scrambling in front. Campbell's with it. He's trying to get it to the net. That's deflected off into the corner. Campbell goes back to Morvacek. Morvacek throws it over to Simonson. Simonson then moves it up to Campbell. Campbell back to Simonson. Simonson takes a shot from the blue line. That goes wide into the far corner. Barr hustling, trying to meet him in the corner. They then throw it out into the middle of the ice. Now they're moving through the neutral zone. They chip it over. That's knocked down by the defense. They get it towards the net. Puck's loose in front. Wall pushes away into the corner. teams now battling there in the Guardian zone in the corner. A couple players go down. Campbell's able to come out with it. He then goes cross ice to Barr. Barr now has some room to skate. He takes it to the outside. He fires. That goes off the cage of the goaltender and out in the corner. They then throw it back out in the neutral zone. Cronlund starts to skate backwards as he regroups. He then dumps it in. Barr's trying to get it into the zone. He then throw it back. Higgy goes back to retrieve. He's starting to regroup in his own zone. He sees Holgram on the far side. He gets it up. Holgram then tries to move in the middle, but that's intercepted. That's broken up. Comes back to Cronlund. Cronlund then throws it into the middle of the ice. Lynette picks it up. He then has that puck stripped away. Mavericks now coming into the zone. They fire it on net. Wall goes down, blocks that one into the corner. Cronlund then throws it up the wall. Olsen trying to tip it out. The Mavericks get a shot on net. That goes off Guardian's helmet. And Lynette out with it on the blue line. He hits the brakes as he starts to move into the middle ice and gets it to Holgram. Holgram now has some space. He kicks it up to himself. He moves it into the middle, but that's intercepted. Mavericks now circling back into the near corner here. They then go cross ice. They can't hold on to it. Nearly too many men on the ice. Luckily, no Guardians touch that puck. They then go up the wall to Olsen. Mavericks pick it up. They regroup in the neutral zone. They then flip it down. That misses the stick. They're going to call a tip. I don't think it hit. Moravicek picks it up on the backside. He then throws it. That comes down in the middle. We got a foot race with Campbell. They dump it back into the boards out into the neutral zone. They then go cross ice to a guy coming off the bench. Campbell nearly intercepts that pass. Moravicek now picked up the puck. He throws it up. That's enough to get out of the zone. Moravicek steps up. He's trying to get it out of the zone. He passes it up to O'Brien. O'Brien then passes to Campbell. Campbell's racing to the puck into the corner. He's taken on by two Maverick players. And then comes out with it, passes it back to Simonson. Simonson steps over, gives it over to Moravicek. Moravicek moves in, he shoots. That's loose in front, just goes through the crease and skips outside. Nearly a goal there. Comes back to Moravicek on the point. He then flips it up into the zone, comes out in the middle, he takes a shot, and a goal! That's a goal by O'Brien. Moravicek gets the assist as he fires that on net. It deflects, comes right out, nice bounce right onto O'Brien's stick, and he puts in the first goal for the Guardians. .7:03 left in the first period. Guardians up by 1. Faceoff comes over. Lynette's able to pick it up on the wall and then backhand it down in. Picked up by Holgram. Holgram has a lane to the net. He fires. That goes off the crossbar and up and over. Barr picks it up on the backside. He then drops it off to Cronlund. Cronlund steps around a guy. He's got a lane to the net. He sees Lynette on the far side. He can't hold on to it smoothly. He goes back to Higgy at the point. Higgy then tries to dump it back down deep into safety. It hits a Maverick player. Maverick's trying to get it out. That gets caught on the backhand of Barr. Barr now with it. He skates it into the zone. He gets through a guy, then taking off the puck. Mavericks now coming through the neutral zone. They're taking off the puck. Cronlund does a nice job putting his body in front of that player to slow him up. The puck now behind the Guardians' net. Both teams battling for it. Mavericks come out with it. They stop. Go get him! Go get him! They get a shot on net. Wonderful glove save by Wall. Face-off down in the Guardian zone. Campbell taking a draw. He's going to exit right there as O'Brien comes in to take the draw. Both teams battling down the corner. They go out to the point. They fire it on net. That's high. That goes all the way over into the far corner. O'Brien picks it up. He moves it up to Campbell. Campbell now, we got a 2-on-1 coming back the other way. He fires it on net, and that's sealed up by the goaltender. face-off down into the Maverick zone. Taking out the puck, comes back in the neutral zone, Simonson picks it up. Brian then dumps it down deep into the zone. That rims all the way around behind the net. Campbell's trying to get there. They come back into the near corner here and then throw it up the boards. Simonson are able to hold it. He fires it towards the net. That goes all the way through to the far corner. Olsen hustling over. That's intercepted by Campbell in front. He steps to the outside. He's then taken on by 3 guys. Mavericks then pick it up in the far corner. They now start to skate it out of the zone. Get it moving in the middle. Norbachek breaks that up. He then dumps it up to Olsen. Olsen trying to get it deep into the zone. He's taken out. That's going to be a body checking penalty. The ref's going to call roughing. And Guardians will go on the power play. Guardians will have an opportunity here. Face off down the zone. Algren will take the draw. Algren wins the draw. Back to Cronlund. Cronlund now moves it over to Hagee. Hagee moves in. He fires it on net. Always able to get a shoulder over and block that one. Algren now trying to get over in the corner. Mavericks now skating it out of the zone. Comes back to Cronlund. Cronlund then moves it up the boards to Amos. Amos tips it back to Algren. Lynette does a nice job holding the zone there. He then moves it up to Algren. Puck's loose in front of the net. Mavericks then able to clear it to the corner. They dump it down. Hagee's going to step up. He moves it over to Cronlund. Cronlund's got it to the backside. He spins around, passes it back to Hagee. Hagee then goes cross ice to Algren. Algren shoots it. He scores! That's Cronlund to Hagee to Algren for the goal. So, blue line passes there and then hits the guy on the backside. Algren's there. He fires and puts number 2 on the board for the Guardians. 4:18 left in the first period. Campbell takes the puck to the outside. He starts to gain the zone. He then looks to center. Brian tries to get a shot. That goes by. Farr gets taken out. He goes down big time. Able to get up. He hit hard. Guardians will back on the power play. That comes out. Mavericks sitting high. They're going to move it out of the zone. Broken up by the defense. Campbell now with it. Campbell now moving it through the zone. He passes it over to Barr. Barr moves it into the middle of the ice. He then sees to the backhand. Gets it off to Campbell. Campbell trying to get a hold of it. He passes it back out to Cronlund. Cronlund moves it over to Hagee. Hagee starts to skate towards the net. He fires. That's chip. Barr shoots at our goal! That's Cronlund to Hagee to Barr. Hagee fired that on net. That rebounds. Barr's there to pick that one up. I'll tell you what, that's some payback for getting thrown in the boards there. So that's 3-0. 3:29 left in the first period. That hustling trying to break that play up right in the neutral zone. Does a nice job. Algrim tries to chip it out of the zone, but unable to quite get it. They chip it on net. Wall then steers that to the corner. Mavericks now with it. They move down to the far corner. They're taking out the puck. Algrim now circling around behind the net. He moves it up to Lynette. Lynette backhands. He moves it up. That might be an icing. That'll bring the face-off all the way down back into the Guardian zone. O'Brien comes out with the puck. He's trying to get around. He gets pushed off. Campbell now gets a step on the defense. He's got a guy on the back door. Amos is sitting there. He skates it around. Amos goes down. He fires. That just goes wide. O'Brien now trying to get to the puck. Mavericks then go cross ice into the middle. They start to skate it out of the zone. They come to the outside. Campbell does a nice job back checking there, forcing them to dump that puck down in as they go out for a change. Cronlin then moves the puck up, trying to get to Amos. Comes back to Cronlin. Cronlin now has some room to skate. He gets it to the outside. He's now moving into the middle. He then has that puck poked away, but Campbell or Amos is able to get that puck deep. Mavericks then throw it the length of the ice. That's going to be an icing. Face-off down in the Mavericks zone. 2:19 left in the first period. Guardians up by 3 in this 3-0 hockey game. Face-off into the corner. Barr chips that right out in front of the net. Puck's loose. Net's there. He can't quite get it. He puts it back to the front. That comes out. Guardians not able to get a shot. Mavericks now come up the far side. They move in the middle. Barr's back checking. He gets through the middle. He does a nice job getting his body out in front for Simonson to get that puck. Puck then comes out in the middle. Algrim with it, he pokes it out. That comes over to Barr. Barr then dumps it back to Morbacek. They then go D to D. Simonson then moves it up. Tries to get it to Algrim, but that's intercepted. Then hits off the skate of Lynette. Lynette hustles back to try to regroup. Simonson now picks it up. He goes D to D to Morbacek. Morbacek then goes to Barr. Barr tips it to Algrim. Algrim now has a leg. He cuts back to the middle. He gets his stick lifted. Can't get a shot off. He comes back to Lynette. Lynette now trying to get that puck back deep. Simonson crashes down. He goes down. Barr now hustling back, trying to catch him. Then comes out front. Nice effort there by both Morbacek and Barr. Now we're going to get a penalty. Morbacek's going to throw his weight around there a little bit, and Guardians will go on the penalty kill. Backhands that puck out of the zone. Brian moves in. They then go cross ice. They start to go back into the Guardian zone. They move it down into the middle. They fire. That goes over the top of the net. Omaha packs it up. He then chips it up to Brian. Now Campbell with the puck. He goes around the defender. He skates around. He's going to try to wrap around. He passed out front. Nobody's home there. Gets a shot. That hits off a defender. Mavericks now move it up the ice as they start to skate it out of their zone. They then go across ice through the neutral zone. They fire it on that. That goes way wide. Brown then picks it up in the far corner. He throws it up the boards, but not able to get it out. Mavericks now picking it up in the far corner. Cronlin's there to battle. He's got him pinned up against the boards there. That comes out. Olsen now trying to get him. They take a slapper on net. That goes wide. Campbell now with it. We got 13 seconds left in the period. Guardians trying to get it out of the zone. Campbell now with the puck. He chips it to space and then able to dump that puck down into the zone. Just wasn't over the red line. That's going to be an icing. 2 2.8 seconds left with a face-off down in the Guardian zone. All of them alike, they just try to prevent that puck from getting shot right off the face-off. Pushing that over the wall or back into the corner. Mavericks put 6 out there as they got their goalie pulled. Auburn wins the draw back, and that's going to do it for the period. All right, good first fresh start for the Guardians. 3 goals in that first period. Scores 3-0 after 1. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back. So I just want to give a big shout out to Palmer Severson. It's his 3rd birthday today, so happy birthday, buddy, if you guys are watching. I hope you guys are having a great time. And we'll see you when we get back. All right, we are back to start the second period. Both teams lining up. Face-off's pushed over. Higgy's in, going to chip it up the boards. Mavericks now coming through the neutral zone, coming back the other way. They fire it on net. That's kick saved by Wall over to the far side. Conlon now picks up the puck. He's got some room to skate. He's going to take it to the outside. He then gets stripped off the puck. He chases it down into the corner. He's now pinned up, battling. O'Brien intercepts that puck. He's going down into the zone. He fires it on net. That's kick save. Barr's going to pick it up on the near side here. He then tries to chip it back to Conlon, but he's not there. Conlon regroups in the neutral zone, gets it over to Higgy. Higgy then moves it up to O'Brien. O'Brien chips it down deep into the zone. Mavericks pick it up as they start to go down the far side. It's intercepted by Barr. Barr chips it towards the net. Mavericks pick it up, skate it around behind the net. Barr then chips it back down deep into the zone. Both teams are now full strength. Mavericks now start to skate it out of the zone. Horvacek picks it up. He starts to skate it around behind the net. He passes it over to Higgy. Higgy chips it up to Barr. Barr then chips it up to Campbell. Brantley change! Like the Guardians are going to get pegged for too many men on the ice. Coach Justin does not look happy about that. Nobody touched the puck there, so I'm not sure why this penalty is being called. We're going to get a penalty for too many Mavericks is going to sit that 2 minutes for the Guardians. Going to take one for the team there. Guardians trying to get their line straightened out. Comes around, rims around the net. They pick it up, they shoot it from the far circle. That beats wall. And that's the first goal for the Mavericks. You're terrible! Puck goes all the way down into the Mavericks zone. They're chasing to pick it up. They come back the same way. They chip it out. Olsen there trying to hold that puck in the zone, but Mavericks now skating it out. They go cross ice. That's tipped down by Campbell. Campbell now skating it into the zone. He hits the brakes, comes back. He gets it back to Higgy. Higgy goes back to Campbell. He can't quite hold on to it. They try to go up the boards. Puck then squirts out to the middle. Olsen's trying to get a hold of it. Mavericks then come back up the near side here as they start to move through the neutral zone. Collins pushing them back to the outside. They then pass it through the middle. That's tipped, picked up by Higgy. Higgy then backhands it up to Olsen. That hops over the stick of Olsen. Olsen's then able to get it out of the zone. But Mavericks pick it up. They go back to the D as they start to regroup. And then Auburn does a nice job of the stick down. Nearly intercepts that pass, but Mavericks end up coming back the other way. Crowley now with the puck. He skates it over, tries to get it to the net, but that pass is intercepted. Crowley still battling down there in the half wall. They dump it down deep. Campbell pushes it out to Higgy on the near side here. Higgy then backhands it to Olsen. Olsen then can't get it out. He has that puck poked away, but it goes back to Cronlin. Cronlin now moving through a couple Maverick players. He then moves it to the far side to Campbell. Campbell then dumps it down deep as he makes a change. O'Brien hustles off the bench. He's able to get that puck down deep. Mavericks then shoot it up. Mavericks now pick it up as they start to move through the neutral zone. That's stripped away by Auburn. Auburn picks it up. He starts to move around behind his own net. He passes it up to Higgy. Higgy then moves it to O'Brien. He tries to get it into the middle as Auburn was breaking, but that's intercepted. They throw it back. Higgy goes cross ice to Amos. Amos does a move on the blue line, and that's going to be offsides. .16 left in the second period. Scores 3-1. Barr picks up the puck on the draw. He then tries to dump it down deep. He then gets it. He kicks it back up to himself. He's got a lane in the net. He fires. That goes off. Puck's loose in front. Mavericks pick it up and they start to skate it out of the zone. Morvacek then pokes that puck back up to Campbell. Campbell dumps it down the zone as they go D to D. That's intercepted. That nearly intercepts that. Barr now trying to get it. He kicks it back up to himself. He steps around and throws it back deep. Campbell moves in. He's trying to put pressure down into the near corner there. They're battling along the half wall. Barr's there helping out. Mavericks pick it up. They go D to D in their own zone. They then try to get up the boards. That's intercepted by Simonson. Simonson steps around. He takes it towards the net. Shot gets the Barr. Barr gets it. Trying to get a shot. He gets down on 1 foot. Puts it. Just goes wide. Mavericks now pick it up on the far side. Simonson gets it. He dumps it back down deep into the zone. Campbell with it. He sees Barr out front. Goalie sticks the stick out and intercepts that pass. Barr now with it. He comes down. He's helping out O'Brien. Mavericks now starting to skate it out of their zone. Campbell gets to the far side. They then dump it. That's going to be an icing. And faceoff will come back into the Mavericks zone. Guardians do a great job there, putting a ton of pressure onto the Mavericks zone there. About to take the face-off. Auburn's in there to take the draw. Face-off's won by the Mavericks. They then fire at the length of the ice, but that's intercepted by Higgy on the blue line. He then backhands at the safety into the far corner. Amos is now battling. They throw it out. Auburn's in front. That's deflected out. Mavericks now skating it out of their zone. Cromlin then goes cross ice to O'Brien. O'Brien chips it up to Auburn. That's going to be offsides. .37 left in the second period. Score is 3-1 in favor of the Guardians. Face-off just outside the Mavericks zone. Guardians push that forward, and Mavericks move it out into the neutral zone. Campbell picks it up as he starts to gain the Mavericks zone. He's trying to go through a couple of defenders. He's taken down. Arm goes up in the air. Wall's coming off the ice for the extra attacker. Higgy now with it. He dances around the blue line and then gets it to the Lynette down in the corner. Lynette now stripped off the puck, and that's going to be a whistle as the Guardians will now go on a power play. Both teams now lining up for this face-off down in their Maverick zone. Comes out the bar. Bar goes back to Higgy. Higgy skates towards the net. He goes back to O'Brien. O'Brien now to Bar in the corner. Bar skates it around behind the net. He's been stripped off the puck, but Algrim's able to pick it up. He's battling down in the corner. Now O'Brien picks it up. O'Brien tries to wrap around. That goes off the post. The goalie's going to cover that one up. Let's go, boys! Auburn wins the draw to O'Brien. O'Brien goes back to Cronin. Cronin goes cross ice to Higgy. Higgy's got some room to move up. He fires. That just goes wide. Guardians were trying to get a tip in there. Weren't able to get it. Cronin now kind of dances around. Puck's then brought back in neutral. Higgy's hustling back. He's got one in pursuit. He skates it around the net. He then moves it up. That's going to be an icing on the Guardians. 48 seconds left on this power play. 6:32 left in the period. Scores 3-1. Guardians up. Face off back in their own zone. Campbell moves in to take the draw. Campbell wins that draw back to Morvachuk. Morvachuk starts, he scrims it around the boards to the near side here. Olsen picks it up. Olsen then trying to get it out of the zone. Able to get it into the neutral zone. Campbell's now battling here right in front. Comes back to Campbell. Campbell's going to try to push that puck up to Lynette. Lynette now enters the zone. He pushes it back into the middle. He's then taken off the puck, comes back. Mavericks now gets control of the puck in the high slot. They then throw it up the boards. That's going to go the length of the ice. Probably not enough for an icing. They're going to wave that off. Simonson picks it up on the far side. He then tries to get it to Lynette. Lynette now skating it around in his own zone. He starts to leave. He gets to the outside. He's got a lot of pressure. He hits the brakes. He then throws it out to Campbell. Campbell tries to step out. Goes back to Lynette. Lynette gets it over to Morvachuk. Morvachuk has some room. He fires, but it bounces the puck. Doesn't get much on it. Campbell now with it. He hits the brakes. He gets it over, trying to get it over to the middle. Puck's now loose in front. Step. Morvachuk steps up, able to get that puck back into the zone. Olsen picks it up behind the net. He throws it up front to Campbell. Campbell then gets taken down, can't get a shot off. Mavericks now coming back the other way. Morvachuk trying to push him to the outside. He goes around, he shoots. Ball's able to knock that one down. Morvacek picks it up. He passes it up to Olsen. He can't quite hold on to it. They wave off the icing. Guardians may have got away with one there. Puck's now intercepted. That comes to Algrim. Algrim fires. That just goes over the top of the net. Mavericks pick it up on the near side here. They chip it back out in the neutral zone. Cronley now goes cross ice to Higgy. Higgy now moving through. He gets it up to Algrim. Algrim then has that puck stripped away. Mavericks now moving back the other way. They dump that puck in deep. Higgy chases it into the far corner. They then throw it towards the net. That goes around behind. Cronley picks it up on the near side. He tries to get it up to Amos. Algrim picks it up. He's got a lane in the net. He's got a straight lane there. He's going to fire, and his goalie's going to be able to seal that one up. Good scoring opportunity there. Goalie's able to seal that one up. Face off down in the Maverick zone. 4:12 left in the second period. Face-off comes to Lynette right off the face-off. He starts to skate it around behind the net. He centers out front, shot, and I think that went in the net. Goal. They're waving it off though. They're saying it didn't cross the plane. We'll have another face-off down in the zone. Face-off there. They had 6 guys on the ice when that puck dropped. Refs over there talking with Coach Kendall, seeing if this is going to be a penalty or not. Looks like it's still going to be 5-on-5. Guardians win the draw, comes back to Campbell. Campbell now on the blue line, he dumps it. Mavericks on, throw it back into the neutral zone. Higgy goes back to pick it up. He goes cross ice to Cronley. Cronley now dancing around in his own zone. He throws it up into the middle of the ice, and that's able to tip that. Barr's now trying to get pressure on to hold the zone. That puck comes back into the neutral zone. They fire it towards the net. That goes into the far corner. Higgy hustles to go get it. He has some room. He skates around one guy. He goes up, he's in the zone. He then tries to move it up. And that's going to be too far. That's going to be an icing. Comes all the way back into the Guardian zone. Guardians win the draw. They rim it around. Olsen trying to get it onto the far side. He's met there with a Maverick. Algrim now picks it up and moves it down into the neutral zone. Mavericks come all the way. Olsen's there to seal up that wall. Now they're trying to push it through. Gets a good bounce for the Mavericks. They're now coming back the other way. They throw it away to our defense. That comes up to Algrim. Algrim now able to get it out of the zone. That gets tapped up to their defense. They move it up the wall. Simonson now able to get it. He chips it up to Algrim. Algrim trying to get it over to Olsen. He gets it there. Olsen now has some room to skate. He takes one more stride, fires. That goes over the top of the net. That rims all the way around. Puck just comes out of the zone. Simonson steps up to hold it. Olsen now picks it up. He then dumps it down deep in the zone. We're going to get called for an offsides. Guardians win the draw. Campbell with it. He then dumps it down deep. Mavericks pick it up. They start to regroup in their own zone. He circles around, put on a lot of pressure. They throw it down into the middle of the ice. They're able to get it out of the zone. Mavericks now move it to the far side. They fire it on net. Just fired on net. Wall's not able to track that. And that goes up and over. Goal number 2 for the Mavericks. Backhands that down deep into the zone. Mavericks pick it up. He's met by Amos. Amos now putting pressure on. They try to get it out front. Mavericks now start to skate it out of their zone. They're skating it up along the near boards here. And then move it into the middle of the ice. And then backhand it towards the net. They get another shot. Left in the second period. Higgy picks up the puck. He then throws it up the boards. That comes back in the middle. Higgy then goes cross ice to Amos. Puck's now Auburn with it. He backhands it to the front. Shot and a goal! Guardians answer right back with a goal of their own. O'Brien's able to put that one in. I believe that pass came over from Auburn. Mavericks dump that puck in off the face-off. Simonson goes back to pick it up. He brings it all the way around to Lynette on the far side. That comes back in. He throws it around behind the net. Morvacek now with the puck. He tries to get it up to Barr, but can't get it there. Barr now battling along with Campbell on the wall. Morvacek steps in. Mavericks come out with it in the corner. They then pass it. That comes to the blue line. That breaks it up on the far side. They can't get the puck to them. Backhanded. That hops over the stick down into the far corner. Simonson now with the puck. He passes it up. We got a 2-on-1 coming back the other way. That goes to Barr on the far side. He shoots and he scores! Guardians answer right back with 2 goals of their own to make this a 5-3 game with 39 seconds left in the second period. Guardians win the draw. Olsen picks it up. 37 seconds left in the period. He dumps it down deep. That rims all the way around behind the net. O'Brien's there trying to pick him up in the far corner. Both teams battling there. 25 seconds left. That comes out to Olsen. Olsen fires and that's a goal! That comes out of the corner. I don't know who kicked it out of there, but that comes right to Olsen. Olsen fires and buries another one. 20 seconds left in the second period. 3 unanswered. by the Guardians. Crowland picks it up. He dumps it down into the zone. Campbell's there putting pressure on. He's trying to chip it around one of the defenders. He comes out with it. He steps around. That comes out right in the middle of the ice. Mavericks now moving through the neutral zone. We got 5 seconds left. They fire it towards the net. Ball slides over, pushes it off into the corner, and that's going to do it for the second period. Whew. So very, very exciting second period there. Mavericks come back and tie it at 3. Get a couple shots on net, and then Guardians fire up, come right back and take it to them, a 3 unanswered of their own, making this a 6-3 game after 2. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back for the third. All right, we're back for the third. Puck drops. Puck comes all the way over into the near wall here. Guardians dump it down in the zone. Mavericks now skating it behind their net. They stop. They rim it all the way around. Auburn picks it up on the far side. That tips off to O'Brien. That comes to Barr. Barr then drops it back to Higgy. Higgy fires. That goes off the leg of a Maverick player. We now got a 3-on-2 coming back the other way. They skate to the other side. They shoot it on net, and Wall able to seal that one up after it hits him in the chest. He does a nice job controlling that rebound. So a face-off down in the Guardian zone. Campbell is going to take the draw. He wins that back to Morvacek. Morvacek rims it around. Olsen trying to get a stick out on the far side, not able to. Puck then gets kicked back behind the net. Picked up by Campbell. Campbell now has some speed coming out of the zone. He steps around the guy. He's now moving up the near side. He gains the zone. He's able to get that down deep. He goes down. Olsen now trying to get control of that puck on the far corner. They move it. Morvacek's then going to go back. He's going to try to get it over to Simonson. Simonson now picks it up. He passes it up to one net. Campbell now picks it up. Both teams battling in the neutral zone. Simonson's able to read it. Play, get it to the far side, and they dump it down deep. Then they go change. Maverick now pick it up. They start to move it onto their own zone. They then move it into the middle. Amos is there trying to get control of it in the neutral zone. They then hammer it down. There goes to Cronlund. Cronlund moves it to Algrim. Algrim now tries to get it up to O'Brien, just a little long. Both teams now battling on the half wall. Puck then goes deep. They skate it around behind the net. Algrim meets him. He gets a good stick, drops it. They then throw it. Algrim then dumps it back deep into the zone. Amos trying to get back, put some forecheck pressure on as Mavericks skated around their zone. Walgram then breaks that play up. He skates it in towards the net. He tries to center. Doesn't get much on it. He then dumps it back to Higgy. Higgy steps around. He fires that. Ooh. Maverick player has a nice boot there. He kicks it like a soccer ball out of danger. Moves back over to Higgy at the point. He moves it over to O'Brien. O'Brien then fires it towards the net. Goalie then picks it up with his glove, and we're going to have a face-off down in their zone. .51 left in the third period. Campbell moves in to take the draw. Puck's one to Barr. Barr dumps it back to Simonson. Simonson goes cross ice over to Morvacek. Morvacek trying to get a hold of it. He dumps it back to Lanek. Lanek goes back to Morvacek. That hops over the stick. He's got to get back. He's got heavy pressure on him. He gets it over to Simonson. Simonson now, he's going to chip it off the boards to O'Brien. Campbell trying to get it up to Algrim, but puck squirts back into the Guardian zone. Campbell picks it up. He goes cross ice to Barr. Barr chips it up into the neutral zone. He starts to skate and put pressure on. He gets it. He blocks it. He's now got a guy out in front. He passes over backhand. He then not able to get a shot off. He picks it up, brings it out to Simonson at the point. Then it go D to Morvacek. Morvacek gets it. He gets it over to Campbell. Campbell now tries to go back to Morvacek. He can't hold on to it. That comes all the way back into the Guardian zone. Simonson hustling back. He then hits the brakes. And then tries to move it up to Waldo and net. He's taken on by a couple more Maverick players there. And that now they shoot. That's blocked by Wall. That's right out front. Guardians now trying to throw it. They get a point. That's tipped. That's going through a lot of traffic. It goes wide of the net. Simonson picks it up on the far side. Guardians then chip it up out of the zone. That's not going to be enough for an icing. Olsen now able to break that play up, pass it out front, trying to get it to Algrim. Puck's loose out in front, but Mavericks are able to tip it up. Now we have 2-on-2 coming back the other way. They take a shot, and that's a goal. Goal scored with 9:08 left in the third period. Scores 6-4. Puck comes back to Higgy. Higgy chips it up to O'Brien. O'Brien can't quite hold on to it. He tries to keep it in the zone, but now Mavericks coming back the other way. They move it into the middle of the ice. That's poked out into the near corner. Puck's now moving up. Algrim picks it up. He chips it up to Olsen. Olsen now has some room to skate. He moves it. He winds up. He slaps it on net. That ends up right behind. Mavericks pick it up. Mavericks now skating it out of the zone. They now start to move through the neutral zone. He steps around a guy. He's then taken off the puck. Higgy's there, able to use his body and get control of the puck. He now skates it into the middle of the ice. Higgy now with some speed. He goes through. He's got some room. He's got a guy on the far side. He moves it over. Amos trying to get control of the puck. Puck's loose in front. Lynette now tries to dump that puck deep. Crowland then breaks that play up. He gets control of that puck. He starts to regroup behind the net. He puts on the brakes, then rims it around to Higgy on the far side. Higgy now with the puck. He goes cross ice, trying to get it to Campbell. It's a stick. He can't get to it. Mavericks then go all the way across the ice. They start to move through the neutral zone. And I'll throw it towards the middle. That's tipped out front. Morvacek's going to pick it up. He's going to start to skate. He gets it into the zone. We got a 3-on-2 coming back the other way. Then gets it out front. O'Brien tries to get a shot off. Barr now throws it back deep to Morvacek. Morvacek throws it towards the middle. Mavericks pick it up, take it behind their net. Then throw it. Simonson's going to step up. He's got some room to move into the middle. He steps around a guy. He shoots. That goes off the side of the net. Mavericks now pick it up. They're coming up the same wall there. Algrim then tries to dump it down deep. That hops over the stick, but Algren fires it towards the net. Mavericks then just throw the puck all the way the length of the ice, and that'll be an icing. Face off down in the Maverick zone. 7 minutes left in the period. Mavericks then throw it all the way down the length of the ice. That's going to be another icing. Mavericks win the draw. They then throw it high up off the glass. Higgy isn't able to hold the zone. Mavericks unable to squirt it back. They go back to Crowlin to regroup. He goes cross ice, trying to get it to Olsen. Olsen now has that puck stripped away. Mavericks now coming through the top of the circles there, but Olsen's able to regain the puck. He moves it into the neutral zone. He's skating up the far side. He then dumps it on the near corner there. But that's hustling in, trying to put some forecheck pressure on. Mavericks now moving in the middle. They get it to the cross ice. They now start to move through. We got a 3-on-2 coming back the other way. They fire it on net. That goes wide. Taking out with it. He gets it up to Lynette. Lynette now starting to look cross ice. He gets it up to Olsen. Olsen now moving through the neutral zone. He's got some room. He puts it. That goes wide of the net. Higgy then rims the puck around into the far corner. Algren tries to meet him there. Picked up, comes back to Algren. O'Brien now picks up the puck. He backhands it down deep into the zone. Amos there does a nice job using his body. Gets it out to Algren in front. Puck comes through, but nobody's there. Right in front of the crease. We got the arm up in the air. And we're going to have a penalty on Mavericks for tripping. Guardians will now go on the power play with 5 minutes, 40 seconds left in this game. Take the draw. Puck's loose. Brian moves in. He goes to Barr behind the net. Barr steps around. He shoves it in. That's sealed up by the goaltender. Puck's loose. Barr picks it up. He circles back behind the net. He moves it out to Morbacek at the point. He fires it back to Barr. Barr's going to pick that one up behind the net. He hits the break, come back the other way, then tips it to O'Brien. O'Brien and Barr now battling for the puck in the corner. That comes back. O'Brien's going to pick it up. That comes back, ribbing around. Barr and O'Brien still just battling down here in the corner, but Mavericks are able to come out with it, send it down into the neutral zone. Morbacek now hustling back to try to regain that puck in their own zone. That comes out front. O'Brien now picks it up. We got a 2-on-2 coming back the other way. O'Brien's going to try to get to the outside. He then tries to toe drag. He moves it to Campbell, who's coming into the zone. Campbell goes to the outside. He drops it off to Higgy. Higgy moves. He's got some room to skate. He moves it through. He comes back to the middle of the ice. He's got it on his backhand and has it stripped off. Mavericks now clear the zone. Crowlin now regrouping. He sends it over to Lynette on the far side. Campbell now with it. He fires it on net. That goes off the cage of the goaltender. Now comes the Barr. Barr rims it all the way around to the far side for Lynette to pick up. That tips it off to Higgy. Higgy now skates it towards the net. He fires. That goes wide. Mavericks now coming back the other way. They then send it to Link. Change! Brantley, change! Brantley, change! We got a penalty there. We Steps back, can't have a whistle.
Minutes, 45 seconds left in the period. Guardians will go back on the power play. Face off one by the Guardians. Olsen picks it up. He circles back into the zone. O'Brien battling along with Olsen. Olsen picks it up. He steps around. He tries to get it out to the point, but can't get a good stick on it. Olsen comes out with it in the corner. He skates it towards the net. He's now behind. Algrim now with the puck. He steps around. Puck's now loose right in front. Comes out. Mavericks now able to pick it up. They're skating out of the zone. Simonson steps up. Break that up. Brian's able to get back, help out. They throw it towards the net. That goes into the far corner. Simonson hustles over to get that. Olsen now picks up the puck. He moves it up to O'Brien. O'Brien now starting to move through the neutral zone. He slows things down and fires it towards the net. That's broken up by the Mavericks defense and pushed off into the far corner. They then skate it back into their zone. O'Brien's there battling. They chip it out behind their own net. They then try to go high off the glass. Has a good bounce off the boards into the neutral zone. Higgy picks it up. He tries to get it to Algrim. That's intercepted. Mavericks now starting to move towards the zone. They dump it in. Cromwell picks it up. He rims it around to Olsen. Olsen's going to pick it up on the far side. Olsen's now starting to move through the neutral zone. He steps around one guy. He moves to the outside. He's got some space. He's got a guy out front. He fires it on net. That goes off. Goalie knocks the post off. We're going to have a whistle. 2 minutes, 18 seconds left in the third period. Score still 6-4. And we'll have a timeout by the Mavericks. Refs start to move back to the face-off dot in the Maverick zone. Two minutes, 18 seconds left in the game. I would anticipate Mavericks are going to try to get the puck down in the Guardian zone and then pull their goalie. Put out an extra skater, try to come back. Guardians will attempt to try to keep the pressure on in this zone, seal up this win. Amos wins the draw, he pushes it out in the middle. That's intercepted by the Mavericks. That's going to be offsides. Off goes to the boards. Mavericks come out with it as they start to regroup in the neutral zone. They start to move through the middle. They're going to be offsides again as he makes a move on the blue line, and they can't stay on. Face-off's won by the Guardians. Simonson now with the puck. He comes back. He's trying to get the boards. He's got 3 Mavericks on him. Brian's there trying to dig it out. That comes back all the way into the corner. Auburn now with the puck. He chips it out. Not able to get it out of the zone. Simonson picks it up. Auburn now with it. He gets that puck poked off his stick right in the neutral zone. That comes to Simonson. Simonson tries to go cross ice to Morvacek. That goes long. Morvacek then chips it up the boards. Barnall battling right there at center ice. He comes out with it and comes back. He throws up the boards. That's going to deflect up into the bench. And we'll have a face-off at center ice. Mavericks win the draw. They bring it back in their own zone, then go high off the glass. Ref weighs it off. Says a tip, not sure. Olsen picks it up on the far side. And then Mavericks are able to hold his own. Higgy now picks it up. He tries to chip it up off the glass, not able to get it out. Higgy gets it one more. He throws it through the middle to Campbell. Campbell now steps around. He gets taken off the puck. Olsen's now. That's going to be a penalty on Olsen as he doesn't go for the puck, throws a shoulder into him. That'll bring a face-off down into our zone. They'll likely pull their goalie, so we'll have 6 on 4 with 44 seconds left. Good call here by Coach Kendall, taking a timeout as they're going to put together a game plan to figure out how do we protect for this last 44 seconds. Mavericks win the draw. That comes out to their point. They fired on net. That deflects into the far corner. Higgy moves into the corner. They pass out front. Shot. Heck of a save by Wall, sliding over to keep that one out. That's a huge save. They move that puck right across the crease to the back door and one-timed it, but Wall's able to read it and get it over. Face-off moves to the far side of the ice. Mavericks win it. They move it out to their point. They fire it on net. That goes just over the top. Mavericks now with it. They circle around. They pass it back out to the point. That shot. That's deflected out front. Puck's loose. Crawled and then pokes it out into the corner. 13 seconds left in the game. 10, 9, 8. Puck's still in the far corner. Walgram's there battling. Puck comes out front. They shoot. That goes wide. 2 seconds left, and that's going to do it. Guardians are able to scrape their way back in this tournament. Come back with a huge win here against Omaha. That keeps them alive as they will move into the championship tomorrow morning on Martin Luther King Day. What a What a great game by the Guardians, bouncing back in this tournament. Both teams now lining up to shake hands. So that'll do it for Omaha in this tournament. This will be their last game, but Guardians will come back tomorrow for the championship game down here in the Midwest Mayhem down in Chicago. So great effort here by the boys. We'll go back, we'll get some rest, and we'll be back tomorrow. Once again, big shout out, happy birthday to Palmer Severson. So it was tough work turning 3 years old. We'll see you when we get back. So that'll do it for tonight. Great effort by the boys.